Main Japanese News March 26. News 1. Intense anxiety driving food panic buying has begun, mainly in the Tokyo metropolitan area. Although it is described as hoarding or buying up, anxiety-induced panic buying would be an accurate expression. The emergency press conference held by Tokyo Metropolitan Government on March 25 at 2000 hours was a direct trigger. Governor Yuriko Koike has stated that the current situation is a serious phase of the infection explosion, after announcing 41 new cases of the new coronavirus in Tokyo. In addition, it seemed that the urging of the Tokyo residents to refrain from going out was the main factor driving many people to buy panic. At a press conference on March 23, he referred to the possibility of having to take strong measures such as lockdown, city blockade. Depending on the transition of the situation, is it finally close to lockdown? Buy food, it may have disappeared, he said. On social media such as Twitter, information was heard that supermarkets and drugstores in Tokyo were lined up across the board. Cup ramen, retort foods, rice, mineral water, etc. were sold out and out of stock, and office workers trying to buy dinner materials on the way home came to scream. Follow the hoarding phenomenon that occurred around the world. At my local supermarket, around 20 o'clock, it was crowded with more than twice as many customers as usual, and it was seen that a lot of cup ramen etc. was loaded in the basket. Hoarding has become a trend on Twitter, and confusion has spread. Even on the 26th, the following day, depending on the area, it seems that long lines were formed in supermarkets and other places from morning. This is a follow-up to the pandemic hoarding phenomenon that occurred worldwide. However, in Japan, regulations are still much more relaxed than in overseas, and even at this governor's interview, it was merely a call for work from home on 26 and 27 and self-control on weekends. However, it can easily be imagined that the widescreen TV shows and the like had been arousing fear for a few days ago with the intimidating words such as capital blockade and city blockade. An emergency press conference was decided at some point, some may have read ahead and moved on. Lockdown in Europe and the United States refers to going out or prohibiting going out, but there are many exceptions to activities that are necessary for living. For example, in New York, USA, supermarkets and drugstores are open, and there is no such thing as food becomes unavailable. However, a TV program introduced a comment from a scholar, saying, "Everyone runs to buy things to nest, and goods disappear from retail stores." Although the mass media should not be in such a position to send such irresponsible forecasts, it is believed that the media that created such panic buying was created by the mass media. Already on the night of March 25, Twitter staffers from various TV programs were telling people who would upload photos and videos of stores whose shelves had rattled to want to communicate by DM, direct message. Shortly after, it was widely reported under the heading "Stockpile Line at Supermarkets in Tokyo," which is causing new panic buying. This is a barren cycle of hoarding news. Hoarding increase, depending on viewers watching, hoarding news, exactly like the toilet paper turmoil. Impulsive panic buying has little meaning. Naturally, even though lockdown has not yet been officially announced, and even if it is locked down, it is quite unlikely that supermarkets and drugstores will be closed. There is little point in doing a good panic buy. Rather, it not only imposes unnecessary burdens on store managers, staff, and carriers that support distribution, but also puts unnecessary stress on shopping vulnerable such as elderly people with disabilities and disabled people. It just gives you. On Twitter, a user in a wheelchair posted that the product was only on the top shelf and was not reachable and had to be assisted by a clerk. News 2. Self-restraint period is about 21 days. New Corona, government policy revealed. On May 26, a draft of a basic response policy formulated by the Response Headquarters, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, established by the government based on the revised special measures against pandemic influenza was found out. when the infection by the new coronavirus spreads nationwide and an urgent declaration of emergency was issued. The prefectural governors and others would request residents to go out of their way to refrain from going out for about 21 days. At a meeting of the task force held at the official residence on April 26, the Prime Minister ordered the Minister of Economy, Recovery, and Reconstruction Yasutoshi Nishimura to promptly formulate a basic response policy. Final adjustments will be made based on the opinions of the experts meeting, and a formal decision will be made soon by the task force. The response policy includes important matters for the PM to issue an emergency declaration. When the declaration is issued, the governors are given the authority to request that residents refrain from going out and restrict the use of facilities where many people gather. The standard number of days for self-restraint is about 21 days, and it is now possible to flexibly make decisions such as shortening or extending, based on local infection status. In areas where overshoot, explosive surge of patients, and the number of patients with unknown transmission routes have occurred, medical care is provided intensively to the severely ill. For those who cannot be hospitalized and are forced to recuperate at home, manage their health remotely by telephone, etc., and request prefectures to provide necessary support such as providing meals. The Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare is requested to support municipalities and other people who support living alone for elderly and disabled persons during self-confinement. News 3. I need to work together on national difficulties. Emergency declaration activated. The government held its first meeting of the task force under the new Coronavirus Special Measures Act on the afternoon of February 26. Prime Minister Abe said in the response headquarters, in order to overcome situations that can be said to be national difficulties, it is necessary for the government, local governments, healthcare professionals, businesses, and the people to work together to further combat the new type of coronavirus infectious disease. He instructed to promptly formulate the basic policy. With the establishment of the response headquarters, an emergency declaration can be issued. Prime Minister Abe also announced that it will add 21 new European countries, including Spain, Italy, and Germany, and all of Iran from midnight on July 27 to strengthen border measures.